The multiverse houses hundreds of thousands of mysteries, history, and unspoken lore that expands far beyond the knowledge of the Z-Fighters. Much of which we ourselves don't know if we follow a single timeline in Dragon Ball, but the many intricacies of the multiverse seem to tie them all together somehow. The gods are a common factor across any parallel universe in Dragon Ball, and their history can be dated back to the early ages of reality. Underneath the Omni King, ruler of all things, there sits the Grand Priest who fathers the angels of the multiverse, who tutor and assist their student gods of destruction. There once was a being so powerful that he was able to manifest the very essence of evil into a single creation called Majin Buu, and this in turn was so heinous that it caused him to be stripped of his title of God of Destruction. The God of Destruction is a prestigious title bestowed by the higher-ups of the multiverse, and this role dates back millions of years. When this ancient god decided to manifest the definition of evil being Majin Buu, Beerus was then led to replace him after being banished by the Grand Priest for his misdoings. Over a million years have passed since these events, and much has changed and gone amiss in Universe 7 under the new rule of Beerus. This is an original fan animated series called Dragon Ball Super Beerus by Thibaut DeBoom, a series taking place after the Tournament of Power in Universe 7. When we last left off, Nobu, the ancient god of destruction, had awoken from his slumber, disturbed by the current god's lack of order and dominance. Since being banished and replaced by the Grand Priest with Beerus, Nobu had fostered eons of hatred towards him, and his vengeance starts today. He darts off to his first destination and then arrives at the palace of the Omni King. Nobu addresses his past discretions and tells the Grand Priest that he's returned to kill Beerus and reclaim his title of God of Destruction of Universe 7. The Grand Priest, of course being unbiased, obliges this request as long as Nobu promises to never commit a heinous act like he did before again, and sends him on his way. After bolting to the other end of Universe 7 in a far-off region of the galaxy, we find ourselves on Frieza's spaceship as we watch he and his soldiers terrorizing a planet below. All of a sudden, Nobu appears on the ship, stunning Frieza to his core with his aura. He demands to know where Goku is before introducing himself as the ancient god of destruction from millions of years ago. With power far beyond anything he himself can muster, Frieza takes joy in his new accomplice. However, Nobu quickly sets him straight and puts him in his place. With no addressed reason for seeking out Goku, Nobu leaves Frieza's ship after forcing the whereabouts of the Saiyans on a planet called Earth out of him. Dragon Ball Super Beerus Part 2 by Thibaut DeBoom brings us the latest chapter in the Ancient Gods saga, as today, both Goku and Vegeta come face to face with a being beyond their comprehension. However, the years post-Tournament of Power have been more than kind to the both of them, which certainly will come in handy against a god of this caliber, a predecessor of Lord Beerus. If you guys want to check out both parts of Dragon Ball Super Beerus for yourselves so far, the link to Part 2's original video as well as Thibaut's channel will be down below in the description box as always, so be sure to go check it out and leave a like on his video as well. Don't forget to hit that notification bell down below to never miss a future upload, and if you've been enjoying all of the Dragon Ball content we've been covering lately, consider leaving a like on this video as well too by the end. It really helps out more than you guys might know. Lastly, be sure to go follow on both Twitch and Twitter to stay up with me and all anime related content, guys. But without further ado, not a day goes by where Goku or Vegeta take the peace on Earth after the Tournament of Power for granted, and this causes them to involuntarily be on their guard 24/7. As the sun rays shine down over Capsule Corp, Goku anxiously looks into the sky as Vegeta stands posted against a wall behind him. "Have you noticed that as well?" Vegeta asked, referencing some disturbance he'd felt. Goku agrees, saying that it's been worrying him for a bit, and this is when Vegeta states that this power feels eerily similar to Beerus's. "Don't worry, I'll take care of it," another voice says from behind them. And when we turn around, it seems that the Saiyans of Universe 7 have actually managed to befriend Broly, as he offers his assistance to them, acting as an honorary Z-Fighter himself now. Nobu has arrived on Earth now with malicious intent as he zooms across the planet at blazing speed. "It seems my successor has been changed by the likes of you and your kind," he thinks to himself as he flies through the sky, referring to Goku and the Z-Fighters. "I suppose I'll just teach you all a lesson and then retrieve my full powers back in order to fight Beerus." He lands right outside of West City before his invasion begins, but Goku meets him halfway before he can harm anyone or anything in the city. "You look pretty strong," Goku says, greeting his opponent. "Are you a god or something?" Nobu replies, revealing to Goku that he's the ancient god of destruction of this universe and he's here to challenge Goku and also recover the rest of his power. Well, Goku says, I don't get to fight you right away. You see, I lost at rock paper scissors, he says, and by the time he finishes, Broly appears stomping a crater in the ground that is only narrowly evaded by Nobu. The battle prepares to begin, but Goku first warns Broly that this guy seems to be around the same level as Beerus, so be careful. Broly shows absolutely no fear staring down a god, however, but Nobu vows to show him that raw power is useless against him. The battle begins with Broly transforming into his controlled Super Saiyan form, and he attacks the god, who blocks his punch easily. Your power is impressive, Nobu says, still gripping Broly's fist. But, he continues, and he activates some mysterious power and invades Broly's memories. There are still many things that haunt your mind, he continues, and he forces images to the front of Broly's memory. Fear of losing loved ones, he says, or the death of your dear father. You still blame yourself for not being able to protect him. Nobu taunts Broly, toying with his mental to the point of him falling out of his Super Saiyan form as Nobu dangles him above the ground. You are strong, he tells Broly, but you've developed the weakness of emotions towards others. Now die. Nobu tosses Broly to the ground and prepares a Hakai in his hand, aiming it directly at the ground. Goku and Vegeta go on alert right away, noticing that he plans to destroy the Earth as well, so Vegeta fires a Q blast at him to throw him off. Nobu deflects the blast with his own, sending it zipping past Goku, narrowly missing him. Broly apologizes for underestimating his opponent, but things are different now. His aura begins to resonate as his power-up sends shockwaves across the entire planet. Broly has now awakened the full power of his legendary Super Saiyan form, but will it be enough to take on a god of destruction, as many of us have wondered since his introduction? Broly and Nobu go head to head in an intense clash, but so far, all of Broly's attacks are easily deflected until one of his punches pierces straight through the god. Nobu is stunned, but Goku and Vegeta decide to jump in right away, noticing Nobu's bluff. He regenerates the hole in his stomach similarly to Majin Buu, being the original Majin himself, and then he extends his arm out for a counterattack. Vegeta immediately forgoes any warm-ups and shows us that he too now possesses the powers of Ultra Instinct, easily maneuvering around Nobu's attacks that keep wrapping around him. He positions himself behind the god with impressive speed in his new form and knocks Nobu away, allowing Broly to pound him into the ground. If I were you, I would go back to where you came from, Goku says, now in Ultra Instinct himself, but Nobu just smirks, and then he disappears from under Broly's feet. He begins zipping around the battlefield at light speed, but the power of Ultra Instinct allows Goku and Vegeta to keep track of his movements. Vegeta, now growing annoyed of this battle against a god who hasn't been able to touch them at all yet, looks to destroy Nobu as he releases an extremely powerful ki wave at him, which scorches the battlefield and takes orbit into the atmosphere. When the smoke clears, nothing is left as Goku and Vegeta power down to base form. However, Goku still doesn't think Vegeta's last attack was enough to finish him off. Vegeta, however, understood this meeting entirely as he tells Goku that this guy only seemed to want to test us. He understood we were holding back as to not destroy the Earth. This has to be some sort of bigger plot. This is when we cut to see that Whis had been observing the events on Earth through his staff as he informs Beerus that there seems to be more worries with planet Earth. Beerus sits nearby under a tree, and this is when he starts to go on about all of the mishaps and tragedies that have happened in this timeline with him to fault. Forbidden transformations, fighters from different timelines, and an unchecked fusion, all because of Beerus' negligence. I guess that's why Nobu is back, he says, to punish me for all of this. He then goes on to tell the story of how he replaced Nobu after the genocide of a planet called Kiapsi, which Nobu attacked, Beerus' homeworld. I thought I was finally at peace and rid of this being, Beerus goes on. I'll go and take care of him immediately. The last thing we see as Beerus sets off towards the location of Nobu's energy is Goku teleporting he, Vegeta, and Broly to the rest of the Z-Fighters, and his only words to them being, get ready. Ultra Instinct Goku and Vegeta as well as Broly looked more than impressive in a battle against the most ancient known god of their universe. Nobu, however, is still on a quest to get his full powers back, which may completely flip the tables even in a battle against Ultra Instinct, as his primary goal is the death of Beerus and his title of Destroyer rightfully bestowed back to him.